Ladies and gentlemen, Barry is back. That gong hasn't been rung like that in a while. Let's take a deep breath and center ourselves and concentrate on the number 12. Gladly walk across the desert with no shoes upon my feet. Share with you the last bite bread I had to eat. I'd swim out to save you in your sea of broken dreams. All your hopes are sinking. Let me show you what love means. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? I would wish for love so loudly every heart could understand. Let love alone, love can show the tribes of man. I would give my heart's desire so that you might see. First step is to realize it all begins with you and me. Love can build a bridge. Very nice. Between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? When we stand together, it's our finest hour. We can do anything, anything. Keep believing in the power of love. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? Let me hear you all, you yes, I do now. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? Let's do one more. Oh, love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? 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 You guys sounded beautiful today. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your
Yes. Please rise as we sing Surely the Presence.
Most gracious Mother, most gracious Father, sisters and brothers, we are gathered here today and we have hearts that are just spilling over and expanded. This is a two-part prayer today, God. The first part is that we are so grateful that we are the master blend of humanity gathered here today. The vortex of love that we create just mushrooms out around the planet, going to all the places where people need the love, passion, compassion, joy, and healing, most importantly. We are here representing you, God, because you are us and we are you, and there is no separation. From this place, we stand firmly with our feet rooted in the Mother Earth, knowing that our strength comes from you, God. Every bit of who we are comes from you. And for that, we are grateful. And the second part of our prayer today is that we wrap a bubble around Atlanta. We wrap a bubble of love and light. No, I'm serious. No, I'm serious. Hold on. Hold on. We want them to be safe. Everybody, every player, every person, the security they've beefed up is really unnecessary because, God, the blanket of love that you put around them is totally healing and protective. There is nothing we need to protect from each other, although we have to be mindful. And the players need to play a good game, but let them play fairly. Let them play honestly, and let the Pats win. Amen.
Good morning. Welcome to Unity on the River. I'm Gina Genest. I'm facilitating service this morning for Reverend Denise DeSimone. And Reverend Denise DeSimone, she's a lot of things besides a fan. She's an author. She's an ordained interfaith minister, a personal mentor, a certified sound healer, and is also certified in many other healing modalities. She's no stranger to the Unity on the River community. From a medical standpoint, she's a walking, talking miracle, having survived stage 4 throat cancer and neck cancer. This is a journey which led her to author her book entitled From Stage 4 to Center Stage. 22 months after being warned she may never sing again, Denise sang to a sellout crowd of 37,000 Red Sox fans at Boston's Fenway Park. So she's here with us today. Glad to have her back in Unity. So Unity on the River is also a church that streams live. So would we say good morning to everybody who isn't here with us this morning. Good morning, streamers. And thanks for being with us today. Just a reminder, too, that you can watch live anytime on YouTube, or you can listen to previous talks on your smartphone and the SoundCloud or Spotify apps. We'd like to welcome anyone who's celebrating with us today for the first time. If you'd be willing to raise your hand, our ushers will bring you a packet and flowers. Anyone here new this morning? Thank you. Person down here, down the back. Keep your hand up so they can find you. One more time. They're coming around with a packet and a flower for you. Welcome. Please know we welcome all paths to God, so you enrich our service by being here with us today. That flower and packet information, you can get more information through those doors after service if you have questions. And the flower will give you 10% off in the bookstore because we have a bookstore through those doors as well. So welcome. Unity on the River is a center of celebration and transformation, inspiration, spirit-centeredness, oneness, and joy. Please hold these truths in your heart as we say our mission statement together. We are a vibrant spiritual community that celebrates the presence in all and awakens humanity to its divinity. And our vision statement together. Centered in love, we joyously co-create a world of oneness, peace, and harmony. I have some brief announcements. The first one being that this morning after service, Reverend Denise DeSimone will be giving a workshop called Transformation Through the Sound of Self-Love. It's going to be in the Oneness Room from 12 to 3:30. Reverend Paul Hasselbeck is coming back in February. He's offering a 3-day 12 Powers workshop beginning Friday night, February 8th. He will be our guest speaker Sunday on February 10, and will be offering a Fundamentals of Raising Consciousness workshop after Sunday service that weekend. The Spiritual Resource Center and our website have more information and sign-ups for both. And then on Sunday, February 17, Jackie Woodside will be back as our guest speaker for Sunday service. After service, she will be presenting her workshop, Living in Quantum Consciousness, teaching us techniques on how to break your spirals, cycles, and chaos. Join us in the quantum field of possibilities and start creating the life you know you deserve. And now's the time in our service where we greet each other in love with a handshake or a hug and say, Namaste. I see you. I see your magnificence. I see your beauty. Namaste.
I'm looking forward to Reverend Denise's talk about love today. Love never goes away. Love knows no bounds as new days we start. I'm here and you're there in the light of the stars. At present, the miles may keep us apart, but not in our souls, and not in our hearts. You are and will always be that of my soul. Unity on the River Choir and Band.
Wow, that's beautiful. You're so talented, all of you. Thank you so much. And thank you all for coming out on this fabulous Sunday. It's great to be here. It's been a while since I have been with you all, in this position anyway, with this shirt on. I checked in with a few people I trust and said, do you think it's all right if I wear my Tom Brady shirt? And they said, I would expect nothing less from you. So here we are, Super Bowl Sunday. Every day is Super Sunday, right? Every Sunday is super. So today's talk, I didn't talk to you about, so when I go like that, that's my pretend clicker, and then you and I sync up and we're good to go, all right? Thank you. So love thyself as thy neighbor, subtitled, How Much Do You Love Thyself? I always ask Spirit, what should I talk about? And it's so funny that sometimes they give me talks when I'm out walking and I hurt my foot, so I haven't been able to walk very much in the last 4 months. So lately, when I have a private healing practice in Danvers where I do Reiki and sound, and every time I put my hands on someone, I get a different title for a different talk. So that's been kind of cool, actually. So this is what they gave me this month. So love thyself as thy neighbor. I want to start with a story about a woman who was driving through her neighborhood with her teenage daughter in her car. And they're driving through the neighborhood, and they round the corner to almost to their home, and they pass by a neighbor's home a few doors down, and her young daughter says to her, oh, that's the mean lady's house. The mean lady's selling her house. You know that? And her mother thought, why would she call that lady a mean lady? Well, it wasn't anything that had to do with what the woman did or said or had been doing to any of them. It had to do with what the mother said at one point, unknowingly putting her judgments unfairly onto the next generation. And the kid got that from her mom because there's lots of no trespass signs on the woman's property. And the woman was elderly, and she must have been nervous. And so I know Brian's looking at me, time to be a gypsy. My earring taps. But I love earrings, so there you go. So this woman never did anything to these two people, but the mother hadn't realized that she had put judgment on her child. How many times do we do that and we pass judgment? When people aren't like us or they're different. We don't even know them. All she knew was the woman's name was Mary. And the woman really thought about what that was and what happened. And she said, in this story I was reading, I never even made it a point to go over and help the woman or ask if she needed something or find out what her story was. I just said she was kind of mean because of the no trespassing signs, and then all of a sudden her daughter does that. It's our job to show people mercy because we want mercy in return, don't we? And our culture leans into, all too often, if people are different, they don't look like us, they don't act like us, they're not the same color. The cultural norm is, well, they're not like us, so we kind of keep to ourselves. Now more than ever, we cannot do this. And I know we're all lunatics, and I know you all get this, but I think we can be reminded often for this. And in Jesus, in Luke chapter 10, there is a lawyer that says to Jesus, how can I reach eternal life? How can I be guaranteed eternal life? And Jesus responded by telling him the story of the Good Samaritan. Now, we all know and we've heard, be a Good Samaritan, I'm a Good Samaritan, but do we really know the story, how it went down and what happened? In ancient Near East, there were lots of differences because of religion, and beliefs. And there was a man left to the side of the road for dead. He had been beaten badly by people who didn't like him or didn't understand him, and again, like the woman in the mean house, didn't even know him. And so a priest walks by and sees that this man is different than he is, and he keeps going. And then a Levite comes by and follows suit with the priest. But a good Samaritan came by, and he stopped. Now, how often do we see something and we go like this? Or we're too busy to even see anything. And we don't take our time to stop because of maybe we're afraid of getting involved in something that might be a less than happy situation. So the Good Samaritan sees him and he stops and he tends to his wounds and he gives him a little wine and he gives him oil for his wounds. And then he takes him in his arms and he puts him on top of his donkey and he takes him to an inn. And he takes him to an inn where he tends to him as long as he can. And then he takes all the money, the denarii, he had out of his pocket. And he gives it to the innkeeper and he asks the innkeeper, please look after this man until he is well. And, you know, when we think about it, the Good Samaritan didn't just see the need. Mercy is when we fulfill the need. Mercy is when we can see that somebody needs love and we love them. Mercy is when we see someone hungry and we take time to get food to feed them. Mercy is when we see someone who's lonely and we just take our time to visit them. In Matthew 5:43, we learn who Jesus says our neighbor is. And he says, you have heard it said that it is love. Love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. How can we do that? How can we love someone who's aggressive toward us? How can we love someone who is hateful toward us? I don't even like the word, but it does happen. You know, last week I sent out a daily dose of inspiration. Anybody get my daily dose? Oh, wow, cool. So I send out a morning message. It's just a little blurb of inspiration. And I send it out to about 1,500 people around the world. And on any day, average 300 plus people open it. And if you want to sign up, there's a sign up in the fellowship where you can get on my list. But last week there was a daily dose I sent out, and it said, if you're not kind to unkind people, you're one of them. I love it when you murmur. If you're not kind to unkind people, you're one of them. Unconditional kindness is not a declaration of who deserves it. It's a declaration of who we are. Always taking the high road. You know, when we love with all our mind, our heart, our strength, and we love God and we recognize that we're all part of creation, it isn't easy to always know how to do that. And in slide 2, we see, we've already wrapped our arms around our soul. There we go. Owe no one anything except to love one another. For he/she who loves another has fulfilled the law. For the commandments, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not murder, you shall not steal, you shall not bear false witness, you shall not covet. And if there is any other commandment, are all summed up in this saying, namely, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Love does no harm to a neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfillment of the law. We can love our neighbor. We can fulfill all the law by loving our neighbor. It's not really that hard to do, or is it? It simply means respecting another, regarding their needs as highly as we regard our own. Now, this is the difference. Here is where it gets a little tricky. As highly as we regard our own. How much do we regard our own? There's a murmur. How can we love the guy next door, or the person down the street, or the person on the road who cuts us off or cuts in front of us, or the person at the store don't they know you're in a hurry and they have 5,700 coupons? And you're like, I'm in a hurry. I gotta go! Or the person who takes and takes and never really gives. Or the person who fill in the blank with your own judgment. How do we love that? Meanwhile, have you ever been in traffic and someone does something that you don't agree with and you blow your horn, only to cruise up into a red light and you're right next to them? And you're looking at your phone. And you don't want to look over there because you know that maybe it's a priest from your church or it's your neighbor or it might even be a relative. And and the light is so long. It's like, and you're doing the upper eye with your head down. And now you're looking between the seats where everything, that black hole that everything falls into, like your whole life is down there between the console and your seat. And you are determined to do everything you can to avoid looking at that person. And they're waving. You feel pretty crappy, don't you? I mean, it's funny, but let's just think about it for a moment. What if we pretended that we knew everyone intimately? Now, I'm not saying go out and do that and think we have to do it for the rest of our lives. What if we just practiced that? I always like to give you a little takeaway for the week, yes? What if we just, even not all the time, 10% of this week, we carry on with that in our mind and in our hearts? That we intimately know people, and we could shift the energy. You see, mostly we'd shift it within ourselves, because when we act that way, what is it? It's that we're stressed out. They're not doing anything to us. We're the one that's stressed, and we're pouring it out all over people around us. That's why I said we fill ourselves up, so it spills all over everybody else. Now, how can we stop and be a good Samaritan if we can't even keep a good thought between our head, between our ears, the 6 inches in our ears, with enough self-love and positive talk? You know, every 1.2 seconds we have another thought. That is a very cute baby. Every 1.2 seconds we have a thought, and for some reason the majority of them, I call them ants, automatic negative thoughts that steal our good. For some reason we err as humans on the side of negativity. You know, if we talk to our friends the way we self-talk ourselves, we probably wouldn't have a ton of friends. I want you to think about this week. How can we be a good neighbor? We have to be a good neighbor here. Let's go to slide 3. Now let's take a look and see. Do we see anything that reminds of us in this? You find it hard to believe in yourself. You're excessively hard on yourself. Why do we do it? Those little thoughts that, blah, blah, you this, you that, oh my God, da, da, da. You have low expectations. When we look in the mirror, we see every wrinkle. Just look in the beautiful color of your eyes and say, I love you next time. Neglect yourself with self-care. Take better care. Are you downplaying your gifts and talents and abilities? When someone says, hey, that was great, you go, oh, that was nothing. No, it was great. Now, I'm not talking a conceited great. I'm talking a love the way God loves us. So look at the rest of the list. Do you constantly crave others' approval? Oh, that was a big one for me. It took me a long time. I'm old now, but when I was a little less old, it took me a long time to get over that. I'm the youngest of 5. I have 2 brothers, 2 sisters, and they're way older than me. They're ancient. But, you know, I was so little, and they were like this ratty little kid. And I always say to people, you know, when I grew up in the 50s, I was a kid. They didn't have a remote, so I was the clicker. How was your childhood? Oh, I was the clicker. That was my job. Get up, put on channel 4. Oh, no, let's see what's on 7. Okay, let's see what's on 5. But I wanted everybody's approval because then it meant I could hang out. You know, it sounds funny, but it wrecked me for years. I had to get really clear that I do not need, and nor do any of you. You need the approval between what you and God know. That's it. Because you're not out there hurting people. We do not need someone's approval. And this afternoon's workshop, I hope you're all going to come. You'll have plenty of time to make the wings, okay? I'll get you home in time to cook for the game. You'll be ready for the 6:09 singing of the national anthem by Gladys Knight, in case you didn't know who was singing it. But we're going to get more into this. You know, part of the reason that we don't experience this love thy neighbor and love thyself and lacking self-love is because we want to go to slide 4. I'm going to talk to you about a little acronym that I want you to keep to make your life sweet. It's called SAP. Now, when we take sap from a tree, what does it turn into? Maple syrup. It's sweet, right? I want you to remember this acronym, SAP, and your life will be sweeter. You see, when we're back here, shoulda, woulda, coulda, wish I did, why didn't I, oh my gosh, it's too late now. That's a lot of stress, isn't it? And when we're out here in the worrying about what is not even here. How many people have worried about something that never came to fruition? Oh my gosh. And the anxiety, my older sister always says, don't worry about anything till you have something to worry about. The anxiety that it brings to us is enormous, only to know that it's not even going to happen. And then you come into this moment, this fun now moment, and the next one, and the next one. And as long as you are in the moment and not letting your negative ants take away the good of this today, right here, right now, this moment, even when a moment is challenging, as long as we say in the moment, we can find peace, right? We already know this anyway. You see, we can't just want to love ourselves more. We have to expect. We have to get up every day just like we put our clothes on and put on an expectation. That I expect to have a peaceful, loving, fun day. I expect to love myself the way God loves me. That's my job. You can go to slide 5. As we arise each morning, let us determine to respond with love and kindness to whatever might come our way. Now, that just doesn't mean whatever might come our way out there. It means whatever might come our way in here. Be mindful, beginning with your own thoughts. That's by Munson, who was the president of the Latter-day Saints. And he also said, keeping one commandment helps us keep the other. We cannot truly love God if we do not love our fellow travelers on this mortal journey. Likewise, we cannot fully love our fellow man or women if we do not love God, the Father of all. We are all spirit children. I love that. We are all spirit children of our Heavenly Father and Mother. And as such, our brothers and sisters. And as we keep this truth in mind, loving all God's children will become easier. And I say, we love ourselves that way because we're just here Godding on earth, right? There's nothing different. There's no difference in God out here. We all know this. God's right here. We're Godding ourselves on earth. And this next slide says it all for me. I love this. And it's so important right now, more than ever. There exists today a great need for men and women to cultivate respect for each other across wide distances of belief and behavior and across deep canyons of conflicting agendas. The willingness to see through each other's eyes will transform corrupt communication into ministering grace. Nice, huh? It may not change or solve the problem, but the more important possibility may be whether ministering grace could change us. I bear humble witness that we can minister grace through compassionate language when the cultivated gift of the Holy Spirit pierces our hearts with empathy. When the cultivated gift of the Holy Spirit pierces our hearts with empathy. We cannot let that happen if we're in the way with negative thinking. Slide 7. And now let's just look at a few ways, and then I'm going to wrap up. 10 ways to love thyself. And as thy neighbor, love thyself. Fall in love with yourself, man. Take your face like when you see a little kid and you go like that. Go like this. Say, oh, I love you so much. Say it. Oh, I love you so much. Oh, I just love you, love you. My nieces and nephews see me coming and go, hi, Auntie. Love ourselves. Think about what makes you you. Eliminate self-criticism. Forget about that criticism. It doesn't do us any good, yet we somehow can't get past it. Today we get past it, right? We're going to win the Super Bowl. We're going to get past it. Be kind and positive. That helps us grow spiritually. Acknowledge your efforts, like I said. But always being humble and always being kind. But acknowledge yourself. Let go of worry. I had the Blessed Mother appear before me. I can't tell you the whole story, but what she said to me was profound. If you even ever knew how much God loved you, you would never worry about another thing again. And I can honestly tell you, I don't worry. I check things out, but I don't worry. I don't have time for it. I've been through enough. So have you. Trust yourself, like that needing to prove. Trust yourself. Sometimes we don't trust ourselves enough. Learn what you need to know and then know you know it and then go on and trust. And the biggie, forgive yourself. And forgive everybody else while you're at it. Give for something other than the thought you're having about that, you know, those the thoughts. You don't need them. Be truthful to yourself. I don't care if you're happy or you're sad or you're hurt. Be what you are. When we try to push that all the way, it does not work. Be authentic and grow spiritually, which we are all here doing. Be grateful. Gratitude is our gateway to grace. And you know what, guys? Just relax and have fun. That's what we're here to do, right? Nothing should be so serious in life. Nothing. I don't care what it is. Now, I want to inspire us all. You can go to slide 8. Love yourself as much as anybody in the entire universe. You deserve it. We deserve it. We expect it and we deserve it. But I want to inspire us all to let all our interactions be transformational instead of transactional. How often are we looking at a situation and we want to see what we're going to get or what we're going to give? Or let us be so full with self-respect and love and light that when we go out into the world, our interactions are transformational and not just transactional. How about that? You know, I learned 3 things when I dealt with cancer. I didn't battle it, I befriended it. It's a long story, it's in the book, it's a great book, it's in the bookstore. What I did, I talked to my cancer, and I learned a lot of things, but 3 things were very, very, very critical to my growth. How do I heal this? I said, what do I need? I'm going to love you, because if you love something, it's always a little bit easier. And what I got back with 3 things, a lot of things, but 3 major things. Denise, stop beating yourself up for nothing. And when I responded, I'm not beating myself up for nothing, the response I got back was, it doesn't feel that way in here. The second one was, the more you love yourself, the less reason for me to be around. And the third, which I want to invite you all to pay attention to, is the more light you can hold, the less reason and the less room I will have to be around. So, you know, I went to work. Curing was the work of the doctor. Healing me from the inside out was the work of my soul. That's what sound healing does for me, about vibration. Let us all get to the point where we pull the cobwebs of all the things that have beaten us up and still try to continue to do it so we can be full of light. So we can be, when we see something, we have enough light, we can hold enough light to go and be that good Samaritan. We can love ourselves enough to go and be loving thy neighbor as thyself, because we are beings of light. Guys, more than ever, we need it. I'm going to tell you a little story, and then we're going to go into meditation. I was traveling a lot this past month, in January. And it was when the government was shut down and the TSA workers, and I wouldn't be able to travel if the TSA workers weren't there, yes? So I was very mindful of them, and I was asking them how they were doing and all of that. And I was inspired by Spirit to take money out of my pocket and try and give it to a young woman of the TSA group. She just looked just very sad, but still putting on a happy face. You know how you can tell. And so I said, excuse me, but could I give you a little bit of money? How are you doing? She goes, it's tough. And she said, I can't take any money. And I said, okay, what can you do? What can I do to help? And she said, well, unless it's something that all of us can participate in, you can't give anything. She said, but you can get a gift certificate maybe. So I went around the corner and I got a gift certificate. I put a bunch of money on a gift card from Starbucks, and I brought it back to her, and by this time I now know her, Connie, and she was crying. And she took the card, and I gave her a hug, and I said, it's going to be okay. She said, well, it didn't happen soon enough. I was just about to close on my house, and I had to let it all go. Yeah. Now, if I hadn't been paying attention, I wasn't trying to be a goody-goody. I just was quietly helping. But I want us to all know, I thought, what could little old me do to help these people? Well, little old me put a video on, and I made a difference in that person, or maybe 10 people's lives, that we do care. And then I put a little video about my trip on Facebook, and over 600 people viewed it, and I got so many messages of people saying, thank you for the idea. I'm going to there. I'm going here. I'm flying next week. I'm going to get a bunch of gift cards and give them to the people. We can do one small thing. But we have to be full of light in order to be mindful to see if we're going through life like this and we got our head down and we're just like looking at the phone because we did a dumb thing, and we are not paying attention because we're in our own mishigas, we cannot raise the vibration, which is so needed right now on this planet. Yes? I love you all. Let's take time and go into meditation. Nice deep breath.
Denise, can I say something? This is a really wonderful presentation. Yeah. And to practice this right now, right here where we are, we saw Barry come in today. For all intents and purposes, he looks kind of well. He walked himself up here. Before service, myself and Brad had an opportunity to share a little bit with him. And Barry told us he spent 17 days in rehab after a lower back surgery. Mm. Okay, so he looks fine walking up here. He's not really that fine. He walks around with this little cart. He's going to try and manipulate this thing into a vehicle that someone happened to give him a ride today. Barry can't drive. He got a ride home from rehab. This person went into his home, got him situated, helped him move a little bit of furniture to get him so he could move about enough, and left. Now Barry's there alone, by himself. Imagine that. Someone comes and helps you, and now all of a sudden they're out the door and you're there by yourself. What does that feeling of being alone feels like? I have to take care of myself now, and I can barely move. He's got this lower back thing that just, he can't go like this and tie his shoe. He can't even go to the bathroom and take care of himself. Okay, I'm not going to make those actions. So Barry could use some help. Barry can't cook for himself. Barry could bring some food. Barry could use some people to come and spend time with him. So here we are. Are we good Samaritans? Are we going to extend our services and help to the people right here in our own community?
Amen. Let's all, thank you, Wayne. And let's take that request into meditation and see what it is that is yours to do to help Barry, and maybe somebody may want to step up and head the team, the the Barry team, the Barry babes, the Barry beauties. Let's meditate on that. Let's take a nice deep breath and take this moment, and as we come into this now moment, we are well aware of our breath. We let our shoulders drop, and we let our mind just quiet. Let's clear our thoughts. This is our time connecting with Spirit, bringing all of this message into this now moment, into this meditation. And as we sit, we let our thoughts be carried on the sound of the music. We'll have a little silence, and then I'll bring you back out. And take another nice deep breath and come back into the moment. We say thank you, Spirit, for this amazing, amazing time. And we bring to mind all of those who we want to hold in prayer. You could say their name silently in your head or aloud as we bless the prayer box. Thank you, Spirit, for the opportunity to know that the people that are placed in this prayer box are healed, whole, and healthy. We know this because we trust and we know that you're in charge. All of these requests go out, and they go out with a vibration from all of us here, this master blend of humanity that we are, knowing that we see the truth for these beloved souls that might be struggling with something, but the struggles are lessened in this now moment, and the healing is here upon them. And for this we say, thank you, amen. Thank you for your kind attention.
thank you, Reverend Denise, for that rich and moving talk this morning. Thank you. I'd like to take a moment to recognize the beautiful souls who volunteer as prayer chaplains here. Please rise if you are able. These wonderful people can meet with you for a prayer or gratitude or simply sit with you after service, and they will hold your prayers in the strictest of confidence. Also, if you are in need, we have hospital and home prayer chaplains that will do home visits for recuperation or hospital stays. Please see Annie Houghton or one of the home and hospital prayer chaplains. Are you here today, Ann? And perhaps, Wayne, maybe you could get together after service today and have a conversation.
What I will do is put out in that table,
In the Resource Center?
I'll put out a sheet for those who would be willing to make visits. I'll put out a sheet for those who are willing to make meals, and I'll put out a sheet for those who are willing to drive him to different appointments. You can sign up for that, and if you are willing to do a point person for that, just put a star next to your
Awesome.
name. And I will be in contact with you, and I will be in contact with you, Barry, after services.
All right. Thanks, Ann. So Ann will put some sign-ups in the Spiritual Resource Center after service. Please see Ann in home hospital prayer chaplain. Okay. Thank you. Remember, you can also submit your prayer request in the prayer box, which is located in the back of the room. And Unity on the River now has a dedicated phone line that takes prayer requests as well. Our prayer team in Silent Unity will pray over your request. And now's the time in our service where we offer an affirmation for our tithes and offerings and prepare them. Let's hold them and breathe into those and our energy of abundance as we say our affirmation. Divine love has me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
Knock myself out with that. I don't want to do that, do I? See my share of broken halos, folded wings that used to fly. They've all gone wherever they go. Broken halos that used to shine. Broken halos that used to shine. Angels come down from the heavens just to help us on our way. They come to teach us, then they leave us, and they find another soul to save. And I see my share of the broken halos, folded wings that used to fly. They've all gone wherever they go. Broken halos that used to shine. Broken halos that used to shine. Don't go looking for the reasons, and don't go asking Jesus why. We're not meant to know the answers. They belong to the by and by, yeah. They belong to the by and by. Well, I see my share of broken halos, folded wings that used to fly, folded wings that used to fly, folded wings that used to fly, broken wings that used to shine. Thank you.
Denise DeSimone.
It is with gratitude and love and appreciation we receive these gifts, knowing that they've been given freely and openly with love. And seeing these gifts go out, as we know we tithe a portion to our local charities in the community, and also to the worldwide unity movement, and to help this spiritual center grow and flourish, we say thank you, and so it is.
Thank yous this morning. It takes so many people who give of their time to help with our Sunday service each week. Thank you for all you do for sacred service. This week's angels are Susan, Jack, Hannah, Frank, Ginny, Karen, Linda, Mary, and Zahava. Our teams, the usher team, the greeting team, the hospitality team, and the bookstore team. Also, thank you to our board members. Could you please stand? Board members. Our board members are available for answering questions or discussing topics of your interest after service. A Wednesday night service reminder. Thank you also for those who make our Wednesday night service happen. Please join us this week for psalmody and meditation service. This week will be Tom Paolini. And again, Reverend Denise's workshop is going to be in the Oneness Room from 12 to 3:30 today. As she said, plenty of time to get the wings done. So, could we have a show of hands? How many of you are coming this afternoon from 12 o'clock with Denise's workshop?
All right, if we don't have 8 people, we're going to make it on a day when it isn't Super Bowl Sunday. All right, so we'll do it another day.
Okay. All right. So, now's our big song. I hear them all.
This is a song of compassion. So take these words in and bring it out into the world, like Reverend Denise was just talking about.
I hear the crying of the hungry in the desert where they're walking. Hear them crying out for heaven's own benevolence upon them. I hear destructive powers prevailing. I hear fools falsely hailing to the crooked wits of tyrants when they call. I hear them all, I hear them all, I hear them all. I hear the sound of tearing pages and the roar of burning paper. All the crimes in acquisition turn to air and ash and vapor, and the rattle of the shackle far beyond the emancipators and the lowliest beneath the rubble of the towers. I hear leaders quit their lying. I hear babies quit their crying. I hear soldiers quit their dying, one and all. I hear them all, I hear them all, I hear them all. Go keep. From Zion, I hear Noah's waterfall. I hear the gentle Lamb of Judah sleeping at the feet of Buddha, and the prophets from Elijah to the old Paiute Wabora take their places at the table when they're cold. I hear them all, I hear them all, I hear them all. I hear them all, I hear them all, I hear them all. I hear them all, I hear them all, I hear them all. We are walking as the light of God. 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 We are walking. We are walking. We are walking as the light of God. We are walking. We are walking. We are walking as the light of God.
Today I was joined by Barbara, who helped out in Youth and Family. And besides giving them their own sense of fellowship and a space to do that, we talked a little bit about the 12 Powers, and they started working on a 12-power collage project. Anything you'd like to say, having visited?
It was fun being with the kids.
There you go. Thank you.
All right, let's rise and sing our peace song.
Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.